is the Daily Strike with your host David Sheminsky. I have a special guest with me today, Danny Babcock.
What's up, man?
He's as funny as his name sounds. And he is a, what's the word? He is a stuntman for Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Give us your best Matthew McConaughey. Best.
All right.
That's it?
I've been meaning to ask you why you say that.
Me?
Yeah, no one's ever said that.
I don't know, man. When I look at you, I see him.
Oh, I was thinking it's like the way I talk.
Well, it's your voice too, but I mean like your facial features. To me, I see Matthew McConaughey. It's a compliment.
Yeah.
He's a good looking dude.
I just see myself as like a little more animated. Like he's like fucking cool and I'm like
super fucking cool.
No. Just more like animated, you know? Like goofy. You know what I mean?
Is that what you mean by animated?
Kind of.
Like you're more like he's more closed off. You're more like like he's not the guy to take his shirt off at a party, but you're the guy to take your shirt off at a party.
And other people's shirts off.
Okay, that makes sense.
We're all getting naked.
We're all getting naked.
That's me.
Well, for the viewers listening, how I know this gentleman, we actually work together. That's it. We just worked together and we just started talking, and here we are doing a podcast. We thought it both would be a good idea. But let's get it off, man. I just got some topics and questions for us to talk about. First and foremost, man, what's your view on humanity right now? How do you view it at the moment?
Well, I mean, the first thing that like comes to mind is obviously like what we're doing to the planet, you know?
Like negatively?
Yeah. So I guess the first thing that comes to mind is a giant like negative, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, I interviewed a gentleman, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes. No, it was Kyle Kells. This was episode like 6. And he was a huge advocate for the earth. And the amount of pollution and plastic that's in our oceans and in our water. Right now, our water from the sink, there's like microplastics in it. I don't know if you knew that.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, tastes good, pretty good, but it's slowly killing us. That's the scary part. But there's just so much plastic in our waters. It's like, it's going to take so long to remove it. We're already so far gone, you know what I mean?
Yep. So there's that, and then there's also like when I look at like social media and like my generation and like the generation after us, like growing up in that, like you don't know what it's doing to people's like anxiety levels, and like you compare yourself to like these people that like are always just filming or recording their best days or moments or and filters, and it just creates like this huge self-esteem issue and like
yeah, I think a lot of it is people they're just looking for someone else's approval, like someone's okay he's doing something cool, you know what I mean? I think that's really a huge part of it too, and I think it's like a sign of like insanity almost. We're not really living our full lives. We're putting on a facade, a front for other people so that so that we look cool for other people. Like I get maybe in middle school and high school that's what you do, you try to fit with the cool crowd, but I feel like as adults and as you grow up in life, that shit's not important. Yeah. It's really not. And I guess it's hypocritical for me to say because I'm on social media, I guess, or whatever. But I feel like there's a difference between, good content and bad content. If you're just posting to post and you're putting all these filters on and you're not looking like a real human being anymore, that's like the negative. But the positive is like when you're putting out content that's like meaningful and positive and can actually impact someone's life. So yeah, I agree. I feel like a lot of people are just looking to be accepted when really they shouldn't be. Yeah. Because who are they looking to get accepted by? Like who
Well, okay, so like it's totally okay to wanted to be accepted by like friends and family, like that's how you can like alter your behavior. If you're doing something that produces negative results, you're going to stop it, so it's like that's okay. But when you do it for people you've never met or stuff like that, that's when it gets like unhealthy. Like I could look at, like say like a guy could like get like tons of compliments on his looks, and then like he's comparing himself to like Mark Wahlberg, Calvin Klein, he's gonna be like,
You talking like 1990s Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah. But like obviously girls do that way more,
Do you think that affects our judgments? Like, you look at like relationships today and social media today. Do you think that like impairs people's judgments for like a person they might be getting into a relationship with? Because they don't look like this person, I'm not gonna. They could have the best personality. They could actually care for you genuinely, but they're gonna pick the dude that's a dick but it looks like Mark Wahlberg over you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see that a lot more when people are younger, you know, like younger relationships, but not so much like, you know, once you're older and you realize like looks fade pretty much, like for me, like 6 months into the relationship, like, you know, like it's what first attracted me to you probably. And then, but like it fades after a while. And if there's no like, you know, if that person's not like intelligent or on the same level as you or cares about the things you care about, then it's probably not going to work, you know?
True.
But
you got to be like on point with that, you know, where like your beliefs and, you know, how you feel about each other has to meet. Because I agree, because like the looks only last so long, you know?
Yeah.
You could be as beautiful as you want to be, but if your personality's shit, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not.
Unless you meet someone with a different shitty personality and you guys are just like
meant to be.
Yeah. I suck, you suck, let's get married.
Let's suck together.
Yeah.
Be a shitty couple.
Yeah. But
damn.
So I mean we were talking about humanity. So but I like said two like negative things, but I think like in the grand scheme of things, like it's a pretty good time to be alive, you know.
I definitely agree.
We're not dying from smallpox, you know.
No.
We're not being invaded, you know.
Yet.
And that's just us. I mean, there are people that are being invaded, but so.
Are you saying it's a good time to live where we live?
Yeah, like technology and ease of living, you know. Because think about back in the day, like you or like your household has to know how to make clothes, make cheese, or, you know, and then we like specialize so much that now we have like, you know, that's like choosing a career. It's like, okay, you get really good at this and then we'll trade our goods and services, you know?
Yeah.
So specialization allows for like technology to exceed, you know, what like, because if we all dabbled in everything, no one would be like an expert. So
true.
And that's like where money comes from. You know? It's like IOUs.
We have so many different markets for everything now where you don't have to go out and, you know, milk your cow anymore. They got machines doing it.
Right.
You know, they got machines making your Twizzlers and your clothes. You got little Chinese boys making your shoes.
Yeah.
That's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
Did you know that every year the child slave labor in America grows by like 16,000, 17,000 every year?
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy? We watched a documentary in my philosophy class, and it was about Nestle, the chocolate company. Mm-hmm. Where they get their cocoa from is, I think it's South Africa or something like that. I think so. And they use child slave labor. Yeah, it's just it's super illegal. Even over there, it's super illegal. And this dude he did a huge documentary on it. But what's scary is that in America, we have that issue. And it's not talked about. Yeah. It grows by tens of thousands every single year.
You would not think that would be the case.
Because like you said, like really, like if you're not looking too deep into it the way we are, oh, you know, America's great. You know, America, make America great again, or whatever. You could say that if you want to, but no, you look deep into it. There's a lot of things going on that shouldn't be going on, especially child slave labor. Like that's crazy.
Speaking of slave labor, I was just watching something, and it was about how like prisons will have their inmates work for like $1 an hour.
I thought it was pennies.
Well, whatever, you know, like, and like it almost is slave labor. Like in California, there was a fire and they had a bunch of prisoners like put it out. So they're out there for like 10 to 14 hours, you know, the heat, like risking their lives for $1 an hour.
Are they given the equipment they needed to like be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know. That's just like slave labor, you know?
Yeah,
and
it is.
That's only going to promote like, I don't know. Some people are worried about it because then you're just trying to lock people up so you can, you know, get cheap labor contracts or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's basically outsourcing at its finest.
Yeah.
You know, because you could pay someone else to do it, but thousands of dollars, so you can pay them, you know, pennies within pennies of the hour. That's nuts, man. You're talking about the last fire that just happened in California, that huge one that was like, it went from the top to like damn near the bottom of California.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the
nuts.
Fire. Yeah,
that's nuts.
So
they had prisoners clean that up.
Jesus. Yeah, or at least like help. You know,
that's nuts, man. Did they get anything out of it, like lesser time or something? That's messed up.
Just $1 an hour.
Go towards their ramen noodles or whatever. That's messed up, man. Yeah. But it goes back to my question, man. What do you think humanity's goal should be? As of right now, like our goal going forward, 2019 going into 2020, what is the goal for humanity, you think?
I mean, I think we're like at a point where we're very accepting of like other ideas. I mean, like the whole transgender movement, like we're at a pretty open-minded place, and we've come a long way,
Definitely agree.
And I think we need to like keep moving in that direction. But again, back to like, the environment, like what's our goal? Probably to like survive, what I mean? Because that seems to be the most pressing issue, and it's like down the road, but it's just like, we got to figure something out, because like it's not sustainable, and like, I don't know what else really matters beyond that in the long run.
True. Yeah. I mean, I read a review today on Facebook that NASA and some other world leaders are working together to take down theoretically speaking, a meteor, like a rush of meteors that are going to come towards the Earth.
Did you say a rush of meteors?
Yeah, like a group of them. I don't know what the correct term is for them. Like a meteor, whatever. You know what I was talking about?
No, but for a second I thought you said like Russian meteor.
Like Russian meteor. Like we're naming them
like
now.
They sent it out and then shot it back.
No. But they like tweeted like theoretically like they're speaking about like if it were to happen, how they prepare for it. So we're talking about the like meteors, Russian meteors. We're talking about the meteors rushing towards the planet, theoretically speaking. But they're like NASA and these world leaders are coming together to plan how they would stop it, because there's so many meteors that are in the space or whatever.
Right, yeah.
They're bound to eventually make their way towards us again.
Well, they do, but most of them aren't big enough to like.
And they get basically dissolve because of the atmosphere.
But I'm assuming we're talking about like a big meteor.
Like a bunch of them, like a bunch of these big ass meteors. Like what's that one movie, man? What the fuck is it called? But it's with Ben Affleck and they go to space or whatever. Armageddon, yeah, like that type of situation. Yeah. Like, could you imagine that? That movie was sad, dude.
Yeah,
I'd be so upset.
I think I've only seen that movie once.
It's intense, dude.
Yeah. So I know like the gist of it, but it's not fresh in my mind.
Like when the dad gets out and he's standing outside looking at the sun and he's in there, he's like, no, and he hits the button and he shoots him back up, and then he blows the meteor up and he dies.
Yeah, I've heard that before, that like at any point, if we get hit by like a big enough meteor, like the whole Earth's whole axis will be shifted, and like, I don't know, it could be very bad.
They said like the meteors they're theoretically talking about, they showed our country and like a line as to where it would hit. Basically, we're screwed. The whole bottom of Michigan is screwed, but everything above Michigan is straight. So like Canada, I guess, and like Seattle, I think. Isn't that screwed? Like everything below us, all the states are all screwed.
Yeah,
that's like scary to think about.
It's like something like you hear about and then you just don't think about it again. Like, that's too big of a problem for me.
Like, that's movies, I'm
gonna worry about like
we'll worry about that when that happens.
Yeah.
That's funny to think about.
We'll let NASA take care of that one.
Now, since we're kind of talking about that specifically, how do you think humans will become extinct? Because it'll happen. Maybe it won't, but if it were to happen, how do you think it would happen?
Yeah, so let's throw out some like very talked about like options, like nuclear war. Okay. I don't know. That's an option.
Just nuclear war?
Yeah.
That's definitely a big possibility. What about with global warming, dude? With the sea level rising, like, have you seen the movie Day After Tomorrow?
Yes.
That could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it happened like that, but I mean,
yeah.
Even 2012, like, I'm sure you've seen the movie 2012. Everyone's seen 2012.
Yeah.
Everyone thought the world was going to end. Yeah. But like that type of situation, like, what if that happens? And how do we prepare for that? Does the government have ships that are already built like they have in the movie, you know what I mean, for the 1% to get on? And what about the rest of us?
Yeah. I don't know. But the meteor thing, honestly, is probably my best guess, because we don't know what's coming at us. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a crazy world up there in space.
Especially like all those black holes. Like, what if a black hole were just to pop up and suck us through and that's it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I want to be the first to say it. I don't know. Maybe we don't die if we go through a black hole.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe we just shoot to a different galaxy and then,
Interstellar. That's another movie.
That was a badass movie with your boy in it. Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
You're in it. That was a good movie.
Stunt double.
That movie tripped me out. Like super hardcore. It makes you really think like, will we get that far ahead by that at that point where we can travel different galaxies and to go to different planets and, you know.
Yeah. You know, there's like a shit ton of people that have volunteered to go live on Mars.
Don't they have like a thing on like
a one-way ticket? Like you're not coming back.
Isn't it on NASA's website or something like that?
Yeah,
you can sign up, I think.
Yeah. Would you sign up?
No.
Pussy.
I'm not a pussy.
I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't do it, man. I'm good.
You just leave everyone you know, anything you've ever loved, to go on a planet with.
Because, like, what if you get out there, right? And how long does it take to get to Mars? Isn't it like years?
I'm not even going to guess.
Is it years or like months? I don't know. But let's just say it's years, right? You go on this spaceship with a bunch of people you don't know for years to go to Mars. To uncertainty. You have no idea if this is going to work. And neither do they. It's a guess.
There's a movie about that. It's they like go in space, but like two of them, so they like put you in cryo sleep or whatever. You know, they freeze you so you don't age. So they're on an automated ship, and it takes like 100 years or something.
Wait,
so
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's called it's like one word, like Arrival or something like that.
I think it's Arrival.
With what's her name? The Silver Linings Playbook girl.
Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah,
and Chris Pratt. I don't know.
Is he in Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt? Yeah. He's in Jurassic Park too, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're thinking about the same people.
He's my boy. But yeah, so that movie was really interesting because he wakes up early. So he's on this ship and he like still has like 100 years or something, like a long. So he basically, and he doesn't know he can't put himself back in, you know. So eventually he like wakes up this random Jennifer Lawrence and like wakes her up, and now she's in the same boat as him. But they like, of course, like fall in love, and they're like, we'll live this out together. But then she finds out that he like woke her up, and so then she's like on this ship with this guy that kind of fucked her, you know.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's a crazy movie.
That does sound nuts.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine that, being put to sleep for 100 years.
Well, I mean, it'd be like you close your eyes and you wake up, and you probably like can't move very well because your body.
Do you wake up and your body's all like jello? Like you can't like walk or anything like that? You like figure out how to walk again?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Have you ever, what's it called? Like a dream or sleep paralysis where you like wake up but you can't move?
Yeah, I've had that a couple times.
I've only had it like once or twice.
I've had it a couple times, but I think I had like a really bad dream, but I woke up and I couldn't move. I was like, wait, am I still dreaming?
What's that about though? Like what's going on?
I don't remember half my dreams, dude, either. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I wish that we had like a playback button so I could like play my dreams again.
Yeah. Well, I mean with like sleep paralysis. So like why does your eyes open and are processing things, but like you can't move your body?
Maybe it's something with our heartbeat or our blood.
Yeah, I was thinking it's like different parts of the brain, you know?
Yeah.
Like the part that controls motor function is still asleep, but I don't know. It's weird.
Did you know only 20% of the oxygen we breathe goes to our brain?
I did not know that.
I think it's 20%. I'm pretty positive it's 20%.
Is that because like our body has like a filtration system?
Possibly. I know we only use like 10% of our brain. Right? I think it's 10% of our brain we use.
Yeah.
And we have 90%.
2% for me, but
2%.
Most people, yeah. Most people can.
Yeah, it's been a long road.
Yeah.
2%. We're almost there.
Yeah. So that's another interesting thing is deja vu. So I've heard it been explained that deja vu is when your eyes like pick up what you're seeing and process it, and then like your brain like a split second later processes that information, so it looks like you've already seen it, but it's just familiar because your eyes picked it up. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't know if we can explain that through science, but that's like, I heard like some scientists say that. It's pretty cool. It made me think.
So we both agree that meteors are probably the way to go for us.
Yeah.
You don't think disease?
No.
You want to hear something interesting? There are very old diseases, like was it the plague disease or was it the black disease or some diseases from like way back when that killed thousands, I think millions of people, they're frozen right now in like the Antarctic. They're frozen in the ice, and as you see, things are melting.
Yeah,
there are scientists that are predicting that those diseases are going to get out again because they're frozen in the ice, and we don't have cures for them. You know what I mean? They didn't have cures for them back then, and we don't have them now. So like,
sweet.
So like, I think that might be a huge possibility.
Yeah, that's another thing to look forward to.
And that's one thing I get scared of, man. Like one thing I haven't been sick in a while, knock on wood, but that's one thing that scares me, man. It's just like waking up one day and like you're so sick, like you're stuck like that.
Yeah,
that scares the shit out of me. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
I'm good, man. I am good. Now, do you think mankind's going in the right direction or the wrong direction right now?
I mean, I would say the wrong direction.
I'm at a standstill. I'm in the middle. I feel like we're going the wrong way, but we're like, it's like we take 5 steps forward, but we take 6 steps back.
Yeah.
5 steps forward, 6 steps back. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like a yo-yo almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like you see all the good things we're doing with like the community, and you know, you're seeing like a huge uprise and like the positivity, and people aren't being so negative and stuff like that. And I guess like the drug epidemic was big, and I guess it's still a big issue, but you're seeing people wake up to the fact that you know, benzos and all these downers and like Xanax, like those things aren't good for you. And I think actually in Illinois they passed a law where if you get a prescription for like those drugs like Xanax and stuff like that, you can actually use that to get medical marijuana.
Yeah.
Like don't even have a card, but if you got a prescription for them, you can trade that in for medical marijuana. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Whatever those do, I mean, marijuana could probably do better besides like numbing pain probably.
I mean, there's a lot of bad drugs out there that the pharmaceutical companies make a lot of money off of.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll push to, they'll push against medical marijuana because of all the benefits behind it, because it doesn't make them money. They make most of their money for people being addicted to these drugs.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. You're giving people the option. Like they have the choice. They can stick to those drugs or they can get medical marijuana. You pick.
Yeah.
So I think that's very unique. So that's like one way I feel we're moving forward. A way we're moving forward, but also it's like battling each other is, like you said, social media. There's a lot of weird things going on the internet where people, they're trying to, especially kids that are younger, they're trying to find themselves and they're spending most of their time on the internet. And I don't think that's the way to do it. I don't think the way to do it is to be on the internet to find yourself. You need to like go out and explore, meet new people, have new experiences, don't just
experience real social interaction,
like real people, not just because not everything you see on there is like real life. A lot of people, they throw up that fake image, or they'll do some stupid shit making it look funny, but really it wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
Do you think every day you grow more as a person? Do you think like every day, like do you wake up and do you strive to be a better person every day?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, I've actually like encountered people that like will not change. They're like, this is who I am, this is how I'm going to be for the rest of my life, and like other people can deal with it, or like I don't care what other people think.
I can't be around people like that. It's like tough, you know what I mean? Because it's like you're trying to improve your situation and you're trying to improve yourself, yet the people that you call your friends at the time, they're just not on the same shit you're on.
Right. Yeah.
I can't be around people like that. If you're stuck in your ways and you don't want to change, then like this isn't going to work for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think like, and there is an opposite side of that, and that's like being a people pleaser. You know what I mean? It's like there you can go too far the other way, if you care, because like if you're hanging around with a bunch of like KKK members and you're trying to like fit in, like you're going to adapt towards them. So you can be too adaptable, you know what I mean? But I think people always, should always be trying to get better. And if you don't, then, I mean, that's the people that we've probably, I think we've all met people like that,
100%. I mean, I've lost a lot of people because, like you said, both sides. I've done it where I've just overanalyzed people.
Yeah.
And I just judge them too quick, and then I'm just like, shit, like now I'm the asshole. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like you're trying to change, and you have people that are just still not doing shit with their life, and you got to remove yourself, and they might take offense to it. Like, wow, like, why are you changing on us, bro?
Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to improve your life, dude? Like, cause like, I'm not trying to do what you were doing anymore, you know? There's no fun in that, dude. Like, the way I think about it is like in high school, like when high school, there was no worries, you know what I mean? You just smoke weed every day, you hang out with your friends, whatever, you know what I mean? But like, once you're out of high school, life changes, dude. Like, shit gets real. Like, for me, like, I moved out of my parents' house, dude. There was no, like, going to college and staying at my parents' house and my parents paying for college. It was more me and my own.
Yeah.
Shit got real quick, and I lost a lot of friends because it's like I didn't care. All I cared about was like surviving.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess your perspective changes after a while because I don't think that way anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's like one thing I want to get better at is like putting myself out there and trying and failing. You know, like trying to like because every day I like try to be like the best person I can be, you know, like kind, gentle, patient, all that. But like I'm talking about like I don't like to take a lot of risks, like, you know, professionally, I guess you would say, or like, you know, like.
Do you like being comfortable professionally? Is that why? Do you like to be in a spot where like you don't have to like? Because I feel you on that. I don't know, man. I
know what you're trying to say.
I like to challenge myself and do new things, even professionally, because I feel like some places professionally, they're stuck in their old ways. You know what I mean? And I feel like you gotta kind of push them to do different.
Yeah, but I'm like, even like when I was in college, I like really struggled to like pick a major, you know, or find something I want to do because I'm like, I don't want to take the risk of like going for something and I don't like it or whatever. But that, like, I missed the whole point. The point is like, no, do it and like push yourself and get that degree. And like, if you don't use it, you wasted time and money, but you really didn't. Because anytime you're like getting an education, you are developing your brain. You know what I mean? So we don't stop developing till we're like 25 to 28. So I don't know. That's like, college has its own value.
I agree.
And you learn how to talk to people and communicate with people who have different ideas, you know.
I'm in college right now, man. That's I right now what I'm pursuing, like I'm not sure if that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm having those kind of thoughts. I'm like, is all this time worth it? Is all this money spent worth it?
You and millions of other people.
It's like it's a crazy time to be in right now because there's so many different like opportunities available. But it's like you just don't know which one you fit in or which one you should pursue. Like I'm going towards a marketing degree, but is that what I want to do? Like, do I really want to mess with numbers like that? Because I fucking hate math, dude.
Yeah,
I hate math. Two things I hate: Spanish and math. Like classes, not Spanish people, because I'm Hispanic myself. But there's just things I know I don't like, and like you said, I just don't want to get stuck in that. Like that, I don't want to choose the wrong road and get stuck on that road, you know?
Yeah.
And hit a pothole, and then I'm stuck.
Yeah, and you always hear about people that like hate their job and like, you know what I mean? And you don't want to be that person.
No, because I've been that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying like I was in like the job I wanted to be in, but like I've been that person where I hated where I worked. And I hated it so much it affected me mentally and like my relationship, and I was not a happy person, dude. But when I removed myself, dude, it's like, have you seen Spider-Man?
I mean, which one?
Spider-Man 3 with Venom. Where
no.
When the Venom gets on him, right? He turns real emo and like he's just like fuck the world or whatever, you know what I mean? But when he rips it off, he's like a new person. That's how I was. Like I had Venom on me and I ripped it off and I was just like a new person.
Yeah.
Like everything got better the next day. Like my mood, my relationship, like I was just happier.
Yeah.
So like I that's one thing I'm fearful of is if I pick a career and I'm miserable the whole way through. Like this is something I didn't want to do. I'd hate to be that guy.
Yeah.
Because life fucking sucks, dude. I'd hate to be stuck in a cubicle all day, like punching numbers. Like I don't want to be that dude.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to be that dude.
There might be people that are like, I just want to sit on my ass, work 8 hours and go home.
I can't do that, man. I can't. You're working
40,
for the man.
Whatever.
40,000 comfortably.
Yeah.
Who was it? I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk. He said that even though his company made $45 million in 1 year, he only paid himself $40,000. So basically that's
a real one.
Average salary, like average base salary for someone working in a cubicle.
Yeah.
But he just invested it all back into his business. That's what I want to do. I don't want to pay myself $40,000. Yeah, but if you're making $45 million, like that's a large sum of money to go towards, you know, whatever you want it to go towards. But I'd much rather be doing that and making myself money than making someone else that money, and I'm only getting paid pennies.
Yeah,
you know.
True. But I mean, at the same time, like, you know, other people have like visions and goals. And I think it's okay to hop on with someone who's maybe more passionate about something or has like a greater idea of what, a grander picture, I think it's okay to like latch on to someone else's, how you were saying, like make money for them. Cause like, let's say like me and you started like anything, like a software development company, like there's nothing wrong with our friends joining our team and like, you know what I mean, helping us with that, you know what I mean? Because not everybody has like big dreams.
True.
And it takes someone like, someone like...
Do you think that's destiny? People that have
like Elon Musk, someone like that. Like that guy has like the biggest dreams, I'd like to work for him and make him money.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But like most of us don't. We don't believe in the leaders of the companies we work for. So
Not
it's
at all.
different,
Yeah. 100%.
But like,
do you think like that's like destiny for these people that are born? Like they're born in like, you know what I mean? Like inside, like they know like, okay, I'm going to be something and that's what's going to happen.
I'm only 25 years old. I have no idea.
No idea.
Because I haven't seen it played out. The guys in high school or college that I knew that were like go-getters like that, I haven't seen where they've ended up. But I guarantee you that they landed on their feet better than the people that weren't, had that positive, like, I know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me think, just because like Elon Musk, for example, like he has like the perfect business for himself. He's doing what he wants to do, like space travel and shit like that. Like just to dream that and do that, I think like you have to have a totally different mentality and attitude towards your passion.
Yeah. And you have to be smart as hell and understand that you can encounter, like he probably knows a lot about rocket ships, and like knows what's possible and what's not, and like what we thought wasn't possible, and he's seen it become possible. He's probably like, I don't know. I just like him a lot, man. Like he makes big moves, and people like make fun of him for like sounding crazy, but like we got to do something, and they, like, I don't know. I saw like I heard something. It was like, why aren't like people like him or Ben Shapiro, you know who that is?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro's a cool guy.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And like people are like, why aren't those people like running for president? You know what I mean? Because they could direct massive amounts of money and resources towards the right things.
I don't think when I say they, I mean like people that are like high up in charge. I don't think they'd want them to be president because of that fact.
Yeah.
I feel like that's too, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this will segue perfectly into like what we wanted to talk about.
Okay.
But because like, okay, so America is like something that definitely controls policy, and like what America does is oil, right? So if you had a president like Elon Musk, he could not spend money on like a border wall, and he could like direct that towards turning travel, like car travel, totally electric or something, to, because like right now the roadblock is those cars can't drive too far without like having to recharge or whatever.
Well, I mean the Teslas, I think with one charge they get 400 and something miles,
which is not bad at all.
That's like more than I get with $40
full
in my
tank
tank.
of gas. Yeah. I don't know. Someone had mentioned like that's the problem with them, but I don't know if it is. But then like. And I don't know, America like invades other countries to get oil, and it's pretty fucking evil. And that would eliminate that, but they don't want that because
chaos makes money.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of chaos makes money.
Yeah.
And it's messed up to say.
But I don't think that's the only way though. I think it does, but I don't think it's the only way.
It's like a puzzle piece too.
Yeah.
The grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Because what it is like, it's a limited resource, right? Oil. So America's basically just shitting on other places, trying to get as much of their hands on it as they can. So yeah, I really feel you're absolutely right. Like they don't want someone like that coming in, it's just going to go against like, because America's been doing this for a while. Like,
long time.
Like, I don't know. There's people that even say like Pearl Harbor was a setup just to get us in the war, and that is like the case with wars. Like the majority of Americans do not want to fight these wars that the politicians want to fight. You know, they know that's our sons dying, whatever. And then there's a catalyst. There's something that happens, and then the majority does, and they can push it through. You know what I mean?
That is, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a lot to take in. I mean, because if Elon Musk was in that position to do so, and he did make all the cars electric, you're literally killing so many different industries, especially the oil industry, which is one of the biggest money makers. Yeah. You're completely shutting that down.
Yeah.
And then what? Then all these like major corporations that are invested into the oil industry, they're gonna be pissed off about it.
It'd be a huge power shift, but that's what we need, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even like, okay, let's take like media companies, right? So there's like 5 to 7 major media companies, you know, and they're pretty like leftist, you know, but like that's a way. But then like someone like Netflix comes out and they're making their own movies in their own studios, you know, so they don't, the higher ups, the 1% cannot control what they produce, you know what I mean? Vice on HBO is another. Well, HBO in general is like another place. Like Vice will cover whatever, you know. That
I love that.
Other places,
it's authentic. Like you get the true image of what things really are. I mean, I love that. I think I was talking to what's that one Indian guy that sits at the bar that only drinks Miller Lite cans?
Rahul.
He cool as fuck. He was telling me about how
very well spoken,
very well spoken, business minded.
Have you talked to him about bringing him on?
I haven't talked to him about it, but he definitely wants to do some work with us, which is really cool. I mentioned it to him, but he was telling me about how Netflix, they had Disney movies on, right?
Yeah.
And the owner of Netflix wanted to sell Netflix to the Disney owner of the CEO of Disney. He only wanted $20 million. That's all he wanted was $20 million for Netflix, right? He said no. So when he said no, Disney took all their movies off of Netflix. It's like you can't use any of them, right? Netflix later on is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and you know Disney couldn't like what happened with Netflix. What they could have done when that happened is oh shit, like they just took away like 30% of our movies because Disney owns a lot of the media companies now, and they make a lot of movies. You know what are you gonna do? They started making their own movies. Like Netflix started making their own movies, their own studios and stuff like that.
Shows, and like Ozark, great show,
great shows, that probably are gonna win Emmys and Grammys or whatever, you know, like I think Grammys.
They definitely have like a ton of shitty stuff, but 100%. So does Disney.
I don't like every Disney movie, you know. No,
even like some people don't even like high budget Disney movies where they spend a lot of money and they flop. You know what I mean? Like
was Avatar Disney?
The Last Airbender.
No, the not Avatar.
Oh.
Not Avatar. What's it called? Blue People.
Yeah, Avatar.
That's Avatar, right?
Yeah.
That movie. You watch that movie?
Yes.
I didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
I don't know who made that.
I think it was Disney. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
But I didn't like that movie. The movie sucked.
I liked it.
It was just too long and too much.
Yeah. I don't know. It definitely was. But
see, now I'm scared to go watch the new Adventures because it's 3 hours and a minute long, and it's like, can I sit down for 3 hours and be in tune with the same thing? Yeah. That's a challenge for me.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Avengers.
And if they pull it off, then like that's a really good movie. Because like for instance, like I watch Game of Thrones and like that, I just want it to go on forever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. When an episode ends, I'm like, it's just never enough. You know what I mean? And I don't know how they're gonna like conclude this season, but I know I'm not gonna be like satisfied. But
yeah, that's the scary part about a lot of these shows too on Netflix, man. You just binge watch all of them because the way they're set up, like you're just so like, oh, I'm only gonna sit down for an hour, and then you're there for 6 hours watching the same thing. You're like, shit.
But see, that's not how HBO does it. They like release it.
Oh, like exclusive releases.
Well, so they do it every week. You know, they'll release. Unlike Netflix, where like when the season comes out, you have access to all of it.
You ever watch Rick and Morty? You know what I read? They canceled it. Mm-hmm. That's messed up. That was such a good show. Yeah, it was very popular, and they went from they were going to make the 4th season, right? And they were going to say it's going to take a little over a year to make it, or a long time is how they worded it. Yeah, and they canceled it, is what I read. I'm like heard about it.
It'll come back.
I hope so, because that's like a show I feel is like demanded.
Yeah, it was like very trendy, you know. You see it on clothes, you see it on like everything, you know. It was very well received, you know what I mean?
I think it was like the fucked up humor it had.
Oh yeah.
It just like fit for a lot of people.
And it's a smart show, you know, like the scenarios they think of, like these planets they create, like
time travel.
Yeah. But
that's very interesting.
It's good. But anyways, we were talking about America and oil, which I told you, like, one thing I'm very interested in talking about is like 9/11.
Ooh.
Yeah. Touchy.
It is touchy, but
I mean, my whole point is like I'm not like pointing fingers. I don't know what happened. There's just discrepancies, and like the government is withholding a lot of things, which makes you think like, okay, what are they? Why, you know, what are they trying to hide?
Yeah, what are you hiding?
So it instantly like puts a target on their back for like, you know, well, who did this or why are there discrepancies, you know? But I don't know exactly what happened, but I don't know. You said you had like a list of things?
Yeah, man, there's 10 different conspiracies. These are the top 10 conspiracies that they have for 9/11 specifically, right?
Yeah. So like, and I looked over it really quick, and like a lot of the things I wanted to talk about are like exactly what some of these are. So let's just go down the list.
Yeah, man. So the number one is they knew in advance, which I think's funny. I mean, I don't know, man. I've read things online where they said that like 2-3 weeks before the attack happened, that they evacuated the whole entire building, right? So everyone got out of the buildings, and they had like workmen go in there, and they're working on the elevator shafts. And I guess a week afterwards, and a week before the attacks happened, people would continually keep hearing beeps all over the building, the beeps that they never heard before. And they're like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole thing of like, you know, the steel beams, could they have melted from the jet fuel, or could they have met from the diesel fuel or whatever? Or, you know, was it really a demolition? You know, were they pancaked? Because like that building was made to not do that, yet it still happened.
Yeah, those were very impressive buildings. Like 200 million tons of like steel, you know? So yeah, I mean, there's other signs that like, okay, so in the stock market, you can buy put options. So like Voss, that's just tap water, right?
It's basically just tap water.
But you like to
shut up, Voss, though.
Yeah. You like to look fancy, so.
Honestly, man, it was either that or Aquafina, and I don't like Aquafina. I think it tastes really gross.
Yeah.
So that was the choice.
That's funny. So anyways, if you put a put option on Voss's stock, you're betting against them. So if they do worse in the stock market, you do better. So like 2 weeks before 9/11, there was like 9 times the amount of put options in the stock market than there are on the average day. Okay. And then specifically on American Airlines and United Airlines, like American Airlines was like 11 times the put options than your average day.
I didn't know that. Wow.
So that's what makes people think like someone knew about it. You know what I mean? Now, whether it was like, because it could be possible that like, you know, if it was Al Qaeda, like they had money, they put that money,
possibly
the put options, and it was they could have banked it all, or you know, but I don't know. That's what makes people think that. There's also NORAD tests. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like simulations of defense, and they like specifically on 9/11, they were running a simulation of 2 planes hitting the World Trade Center. So when the calls came in, they didn't know if it was a simulation or not. So because otherwise, if a plane goes off course, like over America, like there's tons of fighter jets, you know, like they're going to shoot it down. But on 9/11, they sent most of our aircraft up to Alaska and Canada to have a simulation of like a Russian invasion, right? So most of them go up there, and then the rest go to like a southeast state. So there's just like 17 fighter jets guarding all of America, you know?
Wow.
And it's just like there's too many like coincidences, you know?
Yeah, there's like, it's almost like when you like listen to like detectives trying to solve a murder, they always say there's little crumbs that you got to look for and find.
And some of them are really sloppy crumbs.
And they leave them there on purpose, though. I feel.
Here's the biggest sloppy, like whoever wrote this up, you know, and thought of this, like this is how dumb they were for this specific thing. Planes have like black boxes that record altitude, temperature, all different things, and like what goes on in the cockpit. They're built out of like the most resilient substances on Earth, so they're almost always recovered, you know, and on at least domestically when a plane goes down. There were 4 planes that day. The 2 that went into the building, 1 went into the Pentagon, and 1 crashed in a field that was
Pennsylvania, right?
Pennsylvania, which is a whole nother thing. That's United 93, which I don't even know that much about, but it's crazy. So anyways, none of those black boxes were recovered from any of them. I think the United 93 was recovered, but they didn't release it. Okay, so those are destroyed, these huge things. I mean, like these indestructible things. And then they find one of the hijackers' passport
on the ground.
On the ground.
Yeah.
That's like, how like dumb are you? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, because like you're telling me through all that fire, all that rage, all that insanity and chaos, the passport, untouched, unburned, unmarked, they found that, but they couldn't find the black boxes.
Right. So that's like the big, and another thing is like they released a list of each of the hijackers in each plane. You know what I mean? 9 of those hijackers on the list are still alive. They've found them in other countries, and they're like engineers or like this stuff.
They had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Or they did, and they're alive and were, you know, whatever. But that doesn't make sense.
No,
they
because
should have died.
You would have, unless you're a fucking superhero.
Yeah. So I don't know if these were like people connected to the attack, and they just like, you know, but I think they just picked random, you know, Middle Eastern guys and said they were the hijackers. You know what I mean?
I mean, you want to go even deeper. Was it Osama that was?
Osama bin Laden.
He was a CIA agent.
Well, he was at least like visited by the CIA.
No. I'm pretty sure it is marked that he was a CIA agent. He was a CIA agent.
Yeah.
Like in the database, he lived here. Like what?
That like, I try to like focus on the things that like I like know for sure. Right. You know what I mean? And like there are, he definitely dealt with the CIA. You know what I mean? Like whether it was like, cause the CIA has their hands in other countries. So they go there and they find out who's running shit and they infiltrate, and that's how they get a hold of the oil and stuff. You know, they have 2 people fight, whether it's Sunni or Shiite Muslims, they have them fight, cause a disruption, civil war, whatever. And then America comes in and is like, we'll help the side that's gonna
benefit us the most.
Yeah, bend over, basically. So, yeah. But anyways, so that just like blew my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's nuts, dude.
Yeah. And you know, Ground Zero, they wouldn't let FBI agents, anybody near the site except for detonation teams. Like,
well, that's how they said the Building 7 collapsed, because they basically, I guess police were telling people to back up because they're gonna knock the building down to save the other buildings.
Yeah. Which,
like, what?
No. And, okay, so there's this guy here. What's his name?
Pulling out the notes.
Yeah.
It's getting real.
Larry Silverman. He bought the lease on Building 1, 2, and Building 7.
He pulled out an insurance plan, didn't he? Is that about to get into?
Yeah. Huge. And it specifically covered like terrorist attacks and planes crashing into a building, which makes sense. It's a tall skyscraper. It makes sense that there would be like, and there's
a monument.
There's
in America.
money. Did you know there was like supposed to be billions of dollars of gold under the South Tower. So it makes sense like that there would be a terrorist attack. So whatever. But this guy owns like those 3. Building 7's like the farthest away from the 2. And they're trying to say like debris from the towers hit it, and then it just collapsed at free fall speeds into its grave from fire. Not jet fuel, just a fire.
I've heard that. That's crazy.
I don't know. There's just so many things that it's like, whatever we were told happened didn't happen. Like the Pentagon, like
they're even questioning if that was a plane that hit the Pentagon.
Right.
They're like, was it a plane? Like, what was it?
Because there's no debris. The engines are nowhere to be seen. There was
no debris. There's no plane debris either, is what you're saying, right?
Like there was a little bit, but it didn't even look like, it wasn't burnt.
It wasn't like a commercial plane. It must have been like a smaller.
I don't know. But there's like gas stations around there and stuff that have footage of exactly where that plane hit. Like they, we have recordings of what those cameras see, and you can see it in like normal video footage. It's not like lagging or skipping. And the FBI the day on September 11th, they came and grabbed all those surveillance cameras, and they're not releasing them at all. They released 5 frames of one thing where you can see something coming in, and then it's just fire.
It's like a quick flash, and it was like boom.
So it's just like, why wouldn't you like release that to the proper people? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a bigger thing going on, because you look at like what happened 9/11, right? We lost 3,000 people. I think it was like 3,000 people.
Yeah,
probably more. We don't know. But I feel like there's always, that was like something to distract us from like a bigger picture. I feel, right? Because you say we invaded countries for oil. That's what we did. We basically, this happened so that we can get into a war over oil with the other countries.
So,
and how many people did we kill? Right. Over oil.
Way more.
We lost 3,000 people, but how many people did that country lose?
Yeah.
Millions of people.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the bigger picture. Like that happened, which is very, very sad and tragic. But then they did that so that they can take the next step up and go do something else that's even way worse.
Yeah.
It's like an excuse.
Yeah. So, I mean, we chased Osama bin Laden through Afghanistan when we had Afghanistan and Iraq. We heard he was in Afghanistan. We had no reason to go to Iraq, and then we made up the weapons of mass destruction, and we invaded Iraq.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, we invaded Iraq. And that's why I wanted you to watch that movie Vice, because it's actually about Dick Cheney, but George W. Bush was like his puppet, like Cheney had worked with, Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld have worked with, George Bush Sr., and then George W. Bush wanted to run, and he asked these older guys, but they just like used him like a puppet, So this movie talks about how, it doesn't say like Dick Cheney was behind the attacks, but it does talk about how like when it happened, everybody was panicking and freaking out, and Dick Cheney just saw like an opportunity to get the Patriot Act to where the president can have like
access to all their phones?
A bunch of different freedoms, right, that, like if it allowed him to just pass executive orders, you know what I mean?
Because we wanted to feel protected.
Yeah, and be in control of the military.
Right.
And we created this like never-ending war of like the war against terror, you know what I mean? So that now anytime we want to go invade a country that might have oil, we can just, be like, there's a terrorist organization there or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
wow.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then like I said, there's a bunch of other things that like little things that I'm like, that could be like this. I don't really focus on those. I just try to stick to like
the most obvious,
the glaring questions,
Yeah.
So,
because honestly, at the end of the day, we weren't there. Like, we don't truly know what happened. But based on the evidence that is presented, the footage and stuff you see, you just kind of base your opinion off that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we weren't there in the towers. We weren't in the planes. We don't know really what happened. But based on what they're presenting to us and all those little crumbs, sloppy crumbs you can call them, that they left for us to pick up, like, we're learning more and more about how, I'm not going to say it was a setup, but it's pointing into that direction. And people are like realizing, oh shit.
I mean, we know that like the government does do sketchy shit, like the Contra wars, where CIA agents were guarding poppy fields, and we were selling crack. We were bringing crack into the United States and selling it in like black neighborhoods.
Yeah,
that's like I don't know, that's like sketchy, and it's all like come out, you know what I mean? So I'm just hoping like one of these guys that was like part of this, like on his deathbed, is just like, hey, this is what happened, And this is why we did it.
I hope they bring a podcast set up to this dude's deathbed and they have a podcast about all the true things that he's done. That's a good time to let it be honest, before you go.
I mean, it's like your last shot at redeeming.
Being forgiven.
Yeah.
But so. I don't know, man. I only think that goes so far,
Yeah.
It all depends on what you believe in, but I don't know, man. If you've done that much harm, I don't think there's nothing you can do to stop what's going to happen to you, man. You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that. Do you think what do you think about Area 51? We're going to talk about the government. What do you think about Area 51?
I really have no idea, but all I'll say is there's no way this, there has to be a secret military base or whatever, that we call Area 51. Because there's, it might not be aliens, but there's a reason that whole thing was made up or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's, in fiction, there's facts. You know what I mean? A lot of times. So what do you think about it?
I think there's aliens. I'm dead serious. I believe that there's aliens, and I think that they're all just kind of watching from above, and they're just watching us fuck shit up.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to show themselves. Why would they do that? What's that going to do for us? It's not like the movies where they're going to come down and invade us and kill us all and shoot us with their lasers and fucking dissect us in their
Harvest
ships.
Our resources.
Yeah, I don't think, no, because they don't need our resources. You know what I mean? They have resources from other universes and other planets, but I think that they're watching us to show you something very unique and very beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Maybe
I'm crazy, but I feel like we've had some type of contact, because you hear all these stories of people seeing UFOs and she's like, oh, I saw a UFO, and this are people just making this up to make this up?
I don't know. Because vampires and werewolves, you don't seriously hear people talking about that. No. But you seriously hear people talking about there was a floating light. I don't know if it was an Air Force drill or what, but
yeah,
I saint it.
I saint it. I damn saint it. Look at that. Would you look at this?
Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
That's good.
I mean, even people that make up those abduction stories, oh, I was abducted. Where did that come from? Did they just make that up? They have a bad dream?
Man, I don't know.
That makes me think. What about all these crops? Those people that go on the crops, they make those signs. Who's doing that? Who has the time? I want to meet the guy that had time to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time for that. I would have given up right away. Damn, this is a lot of crops.
Pretty artistic.
Yeah.
But what are you doing with your life?
What drugs was he on to do that?
Yeah.
He just go out there with a fucking weed whacker and was me, just.
I don't know. Who knows?
I'm not that guy. That makes me think, though, that type of stuff. There's just a lot of weird shit that goes on in the world, dude. All right, man. So we've kind of talked about a little bit of conspiracy, aliens and stuff like that. And just so I can be honest and upfront with the viewers, we're not pointing the fingers at anybody. We're just talking about it. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to say that, Bush did it and Bush fucked up everything. Gas, water, air. We're not saying that. We're just saying that we're just talking about the things that have been reported. So we'll leave it as that. But let's move on to something else, man. You ever been in love?
Yeah, I definitely think I have, but I think I have a different definition of what love is.
What's your definition?
So there's the romanticized idea of love that you just, I don't know, meet someone that you click with so much, and I don't know. To me, it's just all different levels of affection and liking them. I don't think one person has a soulmate or could only love one person their whole life. You know what I mean? And I think I don't know. I just think, for instance, I would say I've been in love. I dated a girl for 6 years and we broke up, and I will always love her. You know what I mean?
It's but a deep love, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to be her boyfriend or husband. You know what I mean? I don't know. She needed a ride early in the morning to the city, so I woke up and took her, because I she thought her car was stolen. We had to go retrieve it, right?
Right.
So I legitimately care for her and love her, and I at one point was in love with her, but I don't know. I think people just have this idea of love that and it makes shit it makes good people stay with shitty people.
Yeah.
Because it's an extreme case is domestic violence. They stay with them because they love them, you know, and they see their flaws or their parents, where they came from, and they're like, you know what, I love them, and like, you know, but it I don't know.
That only goes so far though.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in that type of shit. Like I grew up with, you know, my mom was with someone for a few years that was very abusive and just wasn't a good person, but she loved him out of her pureness of her heart. And, you know, she went through a lot of bad shit because of this person. She learned later on that wasn't the kind of love, that wasn't the true definition of love. That was just like a level of it, like you said, like levels.
So like, to me, what love is, like, if we're talking about like, you know, because let's say between like two people of opposite genders, or I mean, that's the wrong way to say it. Two people, like a man and a woman, or two guys that are like romantically involved, right? So to me, love is like, it's a choice. It's like, in that sense, it's like, no matter what you do, I'm going to choose to love you, you know? And that's why like marriage is hard for me, because I feel like that's like, you're like signing a contract to say like, me and you forever, no matter what, you know what I mean? And like, that's when you have to love someone, like choose to love them. It's like, if they're being an asshole for months or years at a time, or they're depressed for like 2 years, or whatever's going on with them, you got to stick with them. That's love, you know? But I just see it as like different levels of liking someone or respecting them, or, you know what I mean?
I definitely understand, man. And I feel I've been in a bad relationship where, as bad as she was for me, I still loved her, and she gave me every reason not to love her, but I still loved her. Yeah. And like, when we broke up, I was so heartbroken over it. I was depressed. I was miserable. I moved out of my parents' house. Like, you know, I tried to use every excuse in the book to get her back, and it's just crazy how like I look back and I'm like, God, I was so fucking stupid, because that wasn't love. I thought that was love, but it wasn't love. Yeah. You know, and I look at where I'm at now and who I'm with now, and I'm like, that's love. Yeah. Because like, the person I'm with just accepts me for me, and through my flaws and all, she's still there for me. And I think that's what love is, in my opinion. I feel like a person that's going to accept you through your flaws and all before they accept you at your best. Yeah. Because you're not going to always be at your best. There's moments of greatness you're going to have, but the other part of the time, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be grinding, not so happy, you know.
And that's the choice, you know, when your partner is like in a rut or whatever, like, you got to choose to love them. But like, I think especially females, they choose to love too soon. You know what I mean? Because like, anybody can act like not an asshole for 3 months and like actually be an asshole. You know what I mean? Anybody can do that. And like, sometimes girls just like are too forgiving. I see that the most, like just some girl that's with a guy that treats her like shit. You know what I mean? And like, I had a conversation with this girl at a bar, and she was explaining to me, she gave me shit for like sleeping with a lot of people, and she's like, you gotta understand that like, when you have sex, the same like hormones or whatever, estrogen or whatever, is released as when a woman has a baby. So there's that like instinctual attachment, you know, and love, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but that like made me think, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn it, no, I feel guilty.
She made you feel like a piece of shit. She did,
and she was like a young, smart, like kind of cute girl, you know, but she's just like very smart. So I was like, I told her, I'm like, I know it seems like other people might see it as you coming at me and like trying to make me feel bad, but I know you're not trying to do that. You're just saying from like what you know as a woman, you know, like,
she's giving you like constructive criticism, basically.
And so I told her, I'm like, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's real.
Because everybody was like, leave him alone or whatever. You know, I'm like,
no, that's cool.
Lay it on me.
Lay it on me. That's good, man. I think that's a good trait for people, is like being able to take that, because there's some people, man, when you like try to help them or you try to show them what they're doing wrong, they break down. They're like, oh my God, like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's over. Like, it's not over, man. Not everything you're gonna do in life, whether it's having sex with a lot of women or being good at a sport or whatever it is, it's not always gonna work out in your favor. It's not always gonna go as planned or you thought about it. So you're gonna hit those rough patches, man. But you got to be able to take that criticism from other people, because who knows, man? She might have been fucking a bunch of dudes, and she like realized that down the road, like, damn, you know what? I'm a piece of shit for this. And she was just passing on game, dude. That's all she was doing, was like, hey, listen, maybe I was that person. Maybe she didn't tell you, but maybe deep down inside, she was that person before.
I just like what happened was like her sexual experience in life and my sexual experience in life were on totally different spectrums. So she, you know, to her, sex is like probably how like it should be, you know, like with two people that love each other, and like, and for me it's not that. So
definitely.
Yeah. Interesting. And it has been like that for me, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Cool. Well, we talked about sex, so we're good, honestly.
we went all over the board, man. We went from like philosophical to conspiracy to sex. I just want to talk about, you know, one more thing with you, man. How do you feel about like controlling your emotions and, you know, your mindset at sometimes, you know? Kind of, we talked about it a little bit off air a little bit, and I actually read a passage of it today, was just like preparing yourself for negativity. And it sounds kind of silly in itself, but like, throughout any day you wake up, man, you got to sit and realize that like you're going to run into people that are stupid, dumb, or going to see some negative towards you, or going to be some type of negativity. They're going to throw something negative at you, but you got to like prepare yourself for that type of shit and like build an understanding. Like, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like you put yourself in that position? Like you prepare yourself for stupidity? Like when you go into work, you're like, I'm going to run into a bunch of idiots.
Yeah. It's like hoping for the best, but expecting the worst.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a whole nother side to that is like, no, you need to just project positivity. Like today, I'm not going to run into any dumbasses. You know, there's people that are like, project what you want, you know? So that would go against like what that's saying, because that's saying like, expect it to be shitty. And then like, if it's good, it's good. If it's shitty, you expected it. You're ready for it. So
I guess so.
I think I lean more, I don't really believe in the projecting it. I think it's good to dwell on your goals, you know? So it's good to like think about it over and over. But like, as far as being like, I don't know, there's people that are like, I know I'm going to be a famous rapper one day. And I know they're not going to be a famous, you know, like it's very clear, like,
the market says different.
Yeah. So those people are just like, I'm projecting what I want, you know, like.
It's about, I think you got to execute. I think you can project it all you want, but it's all about how you execute it. Because you can talk about it all day. Like you said, you can tweet it all day. I'm going to be the next biggest rapper. I'm going to be the next big ball player. But are you putting in the time to do that? Right. Are you in the studio laying down the verses, perfecting the timing? Are you in this court? Are you in the gym shooting 3-pointers all night long? Like when I think of that, I think of like Kobe, like how like his work ethic towards being the greatest basketball player. Like if you look into that, dude, he'd be in the gym. Like he would like finish a whole game and then go back in the gym and shoot until like 4 a.m. Yeah. Like that's crazy mentality.
That's how I feel about Mark Wahlberg.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's a fucking animal, dude. His training program, nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
I don't know. He does a lot of things, and I don't know. Maybe if we do this again, we should talk about this guy, Dan Bilzerian.
He's nuts. I know. Yeah, he's nuts, man.
That is an interesting phenomenon for next time.
Well, man, we'll leave it off as that, man. I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and just have a conversation about this wide range of topics. Yeah. We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely do this again.
All right.
We'll definitely get this done again, man. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight to the Daily Strike Podcast. I am your host, David Sheminsky. I will catch you guys next week. Have a good one.